This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has declared a profit surplus of 38.8 billion naira for the year 2024. The figure is a clear improvement on the 1.15 trillion naira loss declared in 2023. Now, why is this important, and what does it say about Nigeria's economy? Joining the conversation this morning is Marcel Okeke, an economist. Mr. Okeke, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me today.
Our pleasure. So, Mr. Okeke, let's start with this. Why is the return to profit making so important?
Well, the Central Bank of Nigeria is first and foremost a legal entity. You know, it's a body. So, for it to move now from such a huge loss to now profitability shows that it's a viable entity, and it gives the impression to Nigerians, and the whole world that the entity, that is the monetary authority of the country, is viable on its own. It's alive on its own. You understand? Rather than being insolvent, so to speak. So that gives the impression that is alive and active to perform its statutory functions. Let me stop there for now.
So let's look at the specific profit that was made. If you just put it in the context of losing 1.15 trillion naira in 2023, and then 2024 declaring a profit of 38.8 billion naira, when you look at the general state of the economy and the sort of improvements at the macro level that we recorded in the last 1 year, do you think that these numbers sort of track? Are they corroborating one another?
Well, you know, what you should know is that a change of baton at the leadership level of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And so the Central Bank had to discard some of the activities, you know, that it used to carry on under the previous leadership. And so by dropping those activities and those engagements, a lot of things, got turned around. For instance, the Central Bank of Nigeria used to engage in so many interventions, economy, giving out loans, some of them well processed, some of them not well processed. But the current leadership said, no, we're not continuing that like that. And so they had a lot of things, to drop, a lot of loads, to drop. And so by dropping those loads and getting out of such interventions, things turned around. And that is why you have such a sudden, turn off thing. I mean, turn off events from huge loss to kind of profit. That's how it came about.
So looking at the wider economy, what can you tell us regarding the trickle-down effect?
Well, I don't want to look at this profit or no profit, sensu stricto. Let us talk about the entire statement of our report of the Central Bank of Nigeria. You see, in the same way that what we call foreign reserves, the reserve of the Central Bank also grew significantly, within that period, between 2020 and 2024. So, if you look at the meaning of growth in a national reserve, it tells the whole world of the viability and stability of the Nigerian economy. Because you can now use, such a huge external reserve to face some shocks. Like the drop in the oil price we're having now, like servicing and paying of external debt. Like importation and paying for imports as they fall due, and so on and so forth. So you have to look at the whole report holistically, and then you can now see that the change of baton, is rubbing off positively, so to speak, on the entity and in terms of the image and the stability of the Nigerian economy.
And speaking of those details, right, part of the report says that the bank's losses worsened to what is 798.6 billion naira. And it does, of course, take note of the increase in the foreign exchange reserves that you noted a little earlier. I'm curious, in the context of this, in the context of projections for inflation by the end of this year in the context of banks that are still carrying out their recapitalization efforts, and how that sort of impacts the central bank, the apex bank, in the I don't know if I would say in the wider sphere of this the financial sector. When you just consider all of these things, do you think that by the end of this year we're able to keep up this trajectory of declaring profits?
Well, I'm still talking about the standard reserves, which is very significant. Like I said, it can now use such reserves for intervention in terms of defending the value. And that is why you can see that for a while now, that the value of the naira has not been deteriorating against the dollar and some other hard currencies, because of that, if you like, substantial external reserves. So going forward, it indicates that the entity called Central Bank of Nigeria is still in a position to defend the naira and then keep the entire financial system stable, So that is one thing that we can, deduce from, the financial statement or the annual report of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Overall, the result, what they published at the annual report, gives hope that going forward, if they sustain those methods, the economy, could be on the path to recovery, bearing some, external headwinds that have become their purview. Thank you.
Mr. Okeke, thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Marcel Okeke, our guest this morning, is a former chief economist at Zenith Bank PLC. He joined us to speak on the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN's declaration of a profit of 38.8 billion naira for the year 2024. In previous years, in 2023, the bank had declared a loss of 1.15 trillion naira.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.